Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure for me to participate in this Congress and to present my work entitled Is Childhood Social Abuse Associated to Chronic Health Condition Among a Sample of Tunisian Adults? So let's begin by presenting myself. I'm Hela Abroug, resident in preventive medicine, and I work in University Hospital of Monastir, Tunisia. So, to begin, as an introduction, chronic health conditions are worldwide public health concerns because of its frequency and burden on economy and health status. These diseases continue to rise over years because of population growth in developing world, including Tunisia. Analyzing factors that predispose people to those conditions is crucial. Many studies focused on investigating different factors contributing to the establishment of chronic diseases such as diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, respiratory diseases, and cancer. And the literature have underlined the association between adverse childhood experiences called ACEs and negative health outcomes in adulthood. And this has attracted the attention of social and medical researchers in many countries, especially in USA, where the most studies were conducted and showed the relationship between childhood abuse and physical health later in life. So there is many different types of ACEs, but the effect of intrafamilial ACEs, such as abuse, neglect, and household dysfunction in adulthood, were the most studied. But there is another types of childhood of ACEs, which is the social one, and which include several aspects of peer, community, and collective violence, and it's not enough studied by the literature. So the social integration is known as having a great impact on health by affecting the psychological functioning. In this context, we performed this study that aims to estimate the prevalence of different types of ACEs by gender and investigate association between number of social ACEs, which are peer, community, and collective violence, with chronic condition in adulthood, adjusted by age, gender, intrafamilial ACEs, and common mental health disorder, such as anxiety and depression. Let's look now at methods. We performed a cross-sectional study between January to June 2016 in primary healthcare centers in the region of Monastir in Tunisia. All participants included had an age more than 18 years old, and the questionnaire was a self-reported questionnaire. A written consent was obtained from every survey participant. To measure the childhood adversity, we used the Adverse Childhood Experiences International Questionnaire, ACE-EQ, developed by the World Health Organization, and it translated and validated in Arabic version in 2012. This questionnaire contains two sections. The first one was intrafamilial ACEs, including conflictual relationship to parents or caregiver, neglect, and household dysfunction, and physical abuse and sexual abuse. And the second part is related to social ACEs, which include peer violence, witnessing community violence, and exposure to war or collective violence. All questions about ACEs were related to the respondents' first 18 years of life. The Arabic ACE-EQ tool includes also questions about chronic health conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, cancer, and other diseases, depression, and anxiety, and other addictive behaviors such as tobacco use, alcohol abuse, and illicit drug use were also obtained. The data analysis, the data entry and analysis of data was performed using SPSS software. The qualitative variable are presented as effective and percentage, and quantitative variable as means and standard deviation. Chi-square and student test was performed to compare percentage and means. A binary logistic regression analysis was performed to estimate the crude likelihood of having chronic diseases by social ACEs, then adjusted to demographic characteristics, age and gender, to intrafamilial ACEs, and to common mental disorders, anxiety and depression. A p-value of 5% was considered statistically significant. Let's look now at results. A total of 1,976 patients were included in our study. The mean age was 36.2 with a standard deviation of 12.7 years. This table summarized the characteristics by genders of our participants, and it shows that 47% of participants were males. And now statistically difference between males and females according to education level, employment status, and mean age. But males were tobacco users, alcohol users, and cannabis users more than females. According to health disorder, there is significant differences between males and females. Females were more anxious and depressive than females, and the chronic health condition were presented more in males to females, with a statistic difference. This table summarizes the prevalence of different types of ACEs by gender. And it showed that more than half of participants reported experienced at least one ACEs, with a percentage of 64%. Males were more experienced for ACEs than females. According to intrafamilial ACEs, neglect and physical abuse were more presented in males than females. According to social ACEs, males were more experienced with all of the types of social ACEs, with significant differences between the gender. This table indicates the crude odds ratio and adjusted odds ratio by the number of ACEs, and it showed that the risk to develop diabetes, hypertension, coronary diseases, respiratory diseases, and cancer is increased when the number of ACEs increased in crude odds ratio. But after taking account the socio-demographic characteristics such as age and gender, intrafamilial ACEs, and mental health disorder, we showed that the risk of development diabetes was multiplied by 2.10 in case of two social ACEs, and 2.56 in cases of three ACEs. But according to cardiovascular diseases, hypertension, and respiratory diseases, there is no significant association between the number of ACEs and the increased risk of these diseases. But for cancers, the risk was multiplied by 7.22 further with 3 social ACEs. As a conclusion, social violence, peer and community violence is a global health problem, and our study showed an association between social ACEs and 2 chronic diseases independently of confounder variables. Those results could be supported by other studies in near future. The long-term consequences of child maltreatment are serious because of its impacts on health and medical care costs. More awareness is needed in community in order to encourage better identification of people at risk. And in addition, we should encourage the development of effective intervention to protect children from the social violence as well as the household violence. Thank you for your attention.